Cocoa in the Community is sponsored by Scandinavian Designs. Modern style for every budget. Welcome back. Well, that we all know that turkeys and Thanksgiving go hand in hand, but why are they so popular at Christmas? Well, Master Turkey Carver and Managing Director and Turkey Farmer at Kelly Bronze, Paul Kelly, is back this morning live via Zoom. Hi, all the way from Essex in the UK to enlighten us with a turkey history lesson. Paul, it's good to see you.
And to see you too. Thank you for having me on the show. Fantastic.
Absolutely. We love you around here. All right, let's start at the beginning. Where did turkeys originate from?
Okay, every single turkey in the world originated from Mexico. That was the home of the turkey. It's migrated through the rest of the world from Mexico itself. And all turkeys originally were bronze in feather colour, black in feather colour.
Okay, that is so interesting. Now, as I've grown up, turkey has become more and more popular at Christmas. Like now my mom has a full-blown Christmas dinner with turkey. Why do you think that's happened?
Actually, it was King Henry VIII. It was King Henry VIII that put turkey on the map for Christmas Day. The Spanish, the conquistadors, brought the turkey over to Europe in the early 1500s. It came up through Europe, and the first record in the UK was in 1534. And Henry VIII put the turkey on the spit at Hampton Court because the bird of choice then was the peacock. But the turkey was a more rare, exotic bird, bigger with more meat. So that was the thing to have. And turkey became more unpopular over the time. But it was Henry VIII, the royal courts. It was the real bird of choice. The bird for the poor people then was the goose. So we have Henry VIII to thank for Christmas Day turkey.
Okay, again, I am just fascinated with all this info that you're sharing. In peacocks, by the way, they scare me a little bit. I don't know why. I mean, they're beautiful, but they scare me. Okay, there's also something interesting about the color of the turkey's feathers. Share some info on that.
That's right. Well, actually, as I say, all turkeys were bronze, black feather colour, right up until the 1950s. And then actually it was a mutation of the bronze gene that brought the modern white turkey that came along. And the modern white turkey's got white feather stubs. So when you process it and pluck it, you can't see those white feather stubs in the plastic bag. So the bronze turkey went out of fashion purely because of aesthetics. And I've got them here. You can actually see here the little black feather stubs in the skin. White turkey has the same amount of feather stubs, but it was seen to be unsightly. So purely for aesthetic reasons did the bronze turkey disappear from fashion in the 1950s.
Oh my goodness. Well, when did the turkeys change from the bronze breed into the modern ones, the ones we're all familiar with today?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a massive difference. Our turkeys, our Kelly bronze turkeys, ours are 6 months of age. The modern white turkey now has been bred to be really efficient, and they're typically 12 weeks when they're harvested at Thanksgiving. Ours are 6 months, and it's the maturity that has the biggest single impact on flavour. So the old traditional bronze breed that we have is mature, then we dry pluck it, we hand pluck it, and we hang it as you would a pheasant, and it's a chain of events that produces the perfect turkey. And that's actually as turkeys used to be produced back 50, 60 years ago. The modern ways of processing have got them cheaper and cheaper, which is why, unfortunately, people say turkey's a bit dry, it's a bit tasteless. It's because it's so young now when it's processed. It doesn't have that natural fat in the meat to give it the lovely flavour.
Oh, okay. So how does...
Interesting, huh?
It really is. Okay, well, how does all of this info tie into Kelly Bronze?
That's right. Kelly, if you go onto our website, kellybronze.com, you'll see everything you need to know about cooking and carving a turkey, and also the history that goes with it as well.
Okay, and I got to say that I had a Kelly Bronze turkey. I cooked it at home, and it was really good. I did a good job, but it was also such a great turkey. Okay, of course, before we let you go, we want a carving tip, and I already threw away my electric knife because you said it just wasn't cool. So that's gone, but another carving tip from you, Paul.
Right, okay, well, yeah, a sharp knife is number one. You cannot carve well without a sharp knife. And what to do is break the bird down into its primals. So you take the wing off, take the leg off, and then you take the whole of the breast off before carving it. And you will get typically about 20% more servings out of your bird by carving it that way. But as I say, on our website, it will show you all the pictures and all the videos. Take the leg off, take the wing off, take the breast off, and then start to carve it and plate it up. But a sharp knife is number one.
Okay, you gotta have that sharp knife. Okay, well, Paul, what would you say is your favorite part of the holidays?
Well, as a turkey farmer, December's really, really busy. So you know what I do? I get up on Christmas morning and have a glass of champagne with oysters. That's number one. Then I sit down, chill back and relax. And I'm normally, obviously I have a turkey lunch, and I'm normally asleep by about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right, that sounds like a good holiday. Paul, always good to see you. Happy Christmas to you and your entire family. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks so much. Happy Christmas, everybody. From the turkey farmer.
Okay, and you can get more tips from Paul, find recipes, or order a turkey at kellybronze.com. Scandinavian Design sponsored today's Coco in the Community Story. Shop showrooms in Denver, Westminster, or Highlands Ranch, or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.